Breaking news, it looks like the Indianapolis Colts are getting ready to offer an absolute haul of a trade package to the Chicago Bears for that #1 overall pick. So let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, NFL. Here to talk about the Chicago Bears and here to talk about this latest report about the Bears getting ready to have a trade offer to them by the Colts, a team that I'm predicting ends up trading for that #1 overall pick. Now, where is the source coming from? It's actually David Kaplan of ESPN 1000. David Kaplan's been reporting on Chicago sports for like a long time. He's pretty plugged in, and he mentioned on his YouTube channel that the Colts are getting ready to offer a major package for the #1 overall pick. All right, the package reportedly includes wide receiver Michael Pittman, potentially another player, and a bevy of draft picks. Now, he didn't specify the draft picks, what exactly they would be, but let's just assume we're talking definitely the 4th overall pick that the Colts have, probably a 2nd round pick this year, a 1st round pick next year, and I'm guessing maybe a 2nd or a 3rd, most likely a 3rd if they're throwing in Michael Pittman. So that is reportedly what the offer is going to be. Now, again, we'll see if it actually happens, but it's fun to talk about, and I'll say this. If this is, in fact, the offer that the Bears get from the Colts, I like it. All right? I like it because of a couple of reasons. Number one, you get the draft capital that you're looking for, right? I said that a decent offer from any team is going to be a 1st round pick, 2nd round pick this year. Obviously, we're swapping the 1st round picks if it's a team in the top 5 or top 10. And then it's going to be a 1st and 2nd next year. Now, if it's a 1st and like a 3rd next year, but they're giving us Michael Pittman and other players, oh my goodness, I'm good with that because Michael Pittman would be not a perfect, but a pretty damn good answer at the wide receiver 1 spot. Michael Pittman's a guy who kind of goes under the radar, man, but all he's done is produce. 3 seasons in the NFL, 2 of them over 900 plus receiving yards, had 1,000 receiving yard season last year. And this is with ineptitude at quarterback, with Matt Ryan, with Carson Wentz, with Phillip Rivers. So imagine Michael Pittman with Justin Fields, 6'4", big-bodied wide receiver that can go up and get it. Now, he's got similar traits like Chase Claypool, so maybe that's a little bit redundant. But, man, when we're talking about talent, Michael Pittman is that dude. And he's only 25 years old, so he fits the timeline. Folks, you got to understand this. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And I say this to myself first and foremost. You cannot want a #1 wide receiver and then want him to be along the same timeline and everything's perfect. Like, we want Devontae Adams, but he's 30. He's on the back end of his prime. We want DeAndre Hopkins. He's definitely a bona fide #1 receiver, but again, 30. So it's like you can't have everything. But with Michael Pittman, you get the fact that he's young, he fits the timeline, and he's a guy who's on the rise, and he can get better and better. And deep ball, big-bodied receivers, we like that with Justin Fields. So I love that. Again, potentially other players. Could that mean Quentin Nelson? Obviously, that would be an absolute highway robbery, which I'm talking about, if they give us that in a trade. But I don't think that would be the case. So this would be the trade offer. And honestly, I'd be pretty happy about it. You get your answer at the #1 receiver spot. And then what would happen is you've got your kind of timeline with your receivers, right? Pittman. And by the way, if you're asking why would Indy trade him, not only just to entice the Bears, but also because they're rebuilding. And Pittman's a guy that potentially could walk because his contract's up after next season. But again, then that means the Bears would have to pay him. So you got Pittman at 25, Claypool 24 years old, Mooney 25 years old, and Field 23 years old. And of course, you got Kmet, who's pretty young as well. So you're going to have a solid receiving core. And then Ryan Poles would just have to focus on the O-line and D-line in the draft and free agency. Upgrade the trenches. So to me, I would love this trade. If the Colts come with this trade, we can talk about it. We can make it happen. What do you guys think if the Colts offer their 1st, which is a 4th overall pick, a 2nd round pick, let's say next year's 1st and a 3rd, and Michael Pittman? You buying it? You taking it? I probably am. Leave a comment down below as always. Thanks for watching.